Hello all you people out there in internet land. My name is Britt Kolick. I use they, she pronouns. I'm a professional stage manager and we're currently in my car. Why are we in my car? Because I drive my car a lot. I live in a city that requires a lot of driving. I also live far enough outside of a city that I can't take public transportation. I love the city of Pittsburgh, but as anyone will tell you, our public transportation is sometimes so-so. And Uber and Lyft are not always financially sound. So I still drive. I drive a lot. I spend a lot of time in my car. And I've already talked about my essentials in my bag. I've talked about stage management essentials in general. But I'm going to talk about some stage management adjacent essentials that I keep in my car at all times. So let's get into it. Number one, for obvious reasons, a charger. This is actually a brand new charger. I used to have one that the cord just retracted right back in, which was super cool, but I got a new phone, so I have a different charging port. So yeah, car charger, essential. I also have a little pop socket mount, which I will not show, but it's over there so that I can use my phone for GPS. I just find my phone to be more accurate. It tells me directions better. It also tells me when there's traffic, construction, keeps everything up to date, which I love, especially in a city like Pittsburgh with a lot of one-way streets and a lot of construction all the time. So car charger. Wireless Bluetooth. I no longer use this one, but I don't want to take the other one out. My car is older, so I still have like an aux. It's not entirely Bluetooth. I don't want to get into it, but next we have Bluetooth aux. This is actually my backup. I have a new one in right now. Absolutely love that I don't have to be connected via a cord anymore. My car is still old enough that it doesn't connect. It doesn't have like Bluetooth connection. I have CarPlay, like I can take phone calls, but I can't like play my music. It's probably my only downside of my vehicle, because I've been in cars where my phone connects automatically to Bluetooth and it's pretty freaking sweet. But yeah, Bluetooth, great. Again, great to help mostly for navigation, and I spend a lot of time in the car, so I want to listen to things I want to listen to. Not that anyone's asked, but I do podcasts usually on the way to rehearsal or show. I do music on the way back. Writing utensils, I just keep them in here just in case. Great to have. This is actually a straw. I don't know why this is in here, but never hurts to have some extra utensils at the ready, especially if I'm taking a phone call before rehearsal and I don't want to have to get stuff out of my bag and have to write something down. Just nice to have. My little black book in a Ziploc bag to stop from spills or leaks or, food getting on it. We've seen this before. You guys have hopefully seen this before. This is what I use to track my mileage. So, and it's got some rubber, it's got a gum band in here. It's got some paper clips. All my receipts go right in here. This lives in my car. The black book lives in my car all the time, just in case. And then I just fill it with the receipts as they come in. First aid kit. Fun fact about this. So it's just Neosporin and some Band-Aids. Fun fact about this one is I thought I lost this, so I went to buy a new one because they're like $1.99. And when I went to put it in my car, I looked underneath my passenger seat. This somehow it just fell underneath there, and I had noticed. So yeah, so this is the OG, the new one's in my backpack. Somebody probably is gonna ask why I keep a ton of Band-Aids on me. And even now, I shouldn't say when I was a kid, but I pick my hangnails and sometimes they bleed, and it's really awkward and embarrassing to try to like wrap a piece of paper or tissue like on your finger to stop the bleeding. So like having these, I've had friends who are like, hey, I'm wearing character heels, like I'm in like a blister, something like that. So always good to have just some Band-Aids around, especially in theater. You never really know what's going to happen. So I do keep a real first aid kit on me at all times, as we've discussed in other videos, but never hurts to have some Band-Aids. This one's a little unorthodox unless you're me and you know me, but I keep my business cards here in like a little plastic protective case, because I ended up buying a ton of these cases on Amazon for a project I was working on. So I just keep a bunch of business cards in here. If you know, you know. I mean, never hurts to have them. Never know where you're gonna be. You never know who you're gonna meet. So business cards. I keep a car stapler as well. This sort of goes hand in hand with the pens. I use this primarily when I'm in parking garages and I need to attach the receipt to the ticket that I have so I can keep that for my records. I also just think sometimes having a little stapler, sometimes I take this with me into rehearsals, sometimes I don't, so just really nice to have. It was relatively inexpensive, so tiny stapler. A toiletry bag, and everyone's probably like, Britt, you have so many toiletry bags. That is sort of true. I, for some reason, have an innate fear of going from like a job and being like sweaty and a mess and having to go to a rehearsal or having to go to a theater event and not looking or smelling my best. So in here I have some feminine hygiene products, because you should always have these on hand whether you have a uterus or not. I think they're just really helpful to have. I've got deodorant, some perfume, Q-tips, flossers, and gum. So basically, if I need to, in a hurry, need to smell good, maybe need to reapply some deodorant, I like having a perfume option as well. It's just a nice little thing. And I have used this for non-theater related things. Say I'm just going out and it's like, oh, I need a piece of gum, like my breath kind of stinks, or like I have something in my teeth, oh, I have floss in here. So yeah, toiletry bag. I never think that this hurts. So yeah, this is actually just like an old Five Below makeup bag that I did used to carry makeup in when I wore makeup on occasion, but I never think that this is bad to have, even if you're not a stage manager. If you just stumbled upon this video, I would just recommend a little, sort of like a little go bag in your car in case you need to reapply. Helps, like if you have a passenger, it's like, oh, I have something in my teeth, my breath is kind of rank, do you have any perfume? Just kind of like having it like a scout that way. I always want to be prepared. This one is for all of those who eat in the car like I do and are on the go. This is my bag full of assorted restaurant napkins, and then inside the giant Ziploc I have a smaller sandwich bag full of the utensils and pepper and salt packets. So this just kind of accumulated. It was overflowing in my glove box, so I decided to put it in a Ziploc bag and another Ziploc bag, keep it organized, keep it together. I had a friend who was driving with me who just opened my glove compartment and was like, why do you have a bunch of napkins in here? And I said, dude, I eat in my car a lot. So for better or worse, it's just helpful to have. I think if anybody who eats in the car a lot, you know the struggle of eating something and needing a napkin. So try to keep these as organized as possible. And I just keep it in here all the time. You never know, spontaneous picnic, or you're getting ice cream that gets like a little too messy because of course it's summer and what have you. So speaking of food, granola bar. Everyone's got that granola bar that lives in their car, that lives in their bag, that lives somewhere that's for emergencies. I always keep one on me, or two. The other one currently fell on the floor. These are a few outside the box items that I got because I felt I needed it, and or just keep in here because I don't want to go store it anywhere else. This is a portable air pump that plugs into the car, and then you can fill up a tire. You should not use this to fill a completely flat tire, or you should not try to like patch and do this. This is for small little, like my car is of a certain age where if it drops below a certain degree and then gets warmer, one of my tires is always low. And the reason I asked for this, I got this for Christmas, is because last summer I was at a place that had like 6 gas stations, and it took me 4 of them to find air. Like the Sheets was out, the Gecko was out. I went to like I think it was a marathon that wanted my credit card, and I did not want to pay my credit card to get air. And I finally ended up like at a Sunoco or something. And it was an old school machine, and it took quarters, which I thankfully had a lot of because I used to have to pay a meter to park, but to fill my gas. And I thought, I hate this. I've been in too many situations where it was very inconvenient for me to go get my tire filled. It was this, it was that. So I just wanted something that in a pinch I could fill up a tire, or I guess adjust a tire. I'm not trying to fill up a whole tire. Just give it a little extra air. Get it to where the pressure is right and it goes off with my dash. A blanket, or actually blankets. I have one blocking out. I had a teacher who taught me video editing that said backlight was the devil, so I tried to shove a blanket up here. It's not working super well, so I'm sorry, Miss Lunds. But a blanket, This is a very large, this is like a 9-foot blanket I got for like $8 at Walmart my freshman year of college. Blankets are good if you're doing outdoor theater, if you need a place to sit just in general. My mom likes that I have it, God forbid something happens and I get stranded and have to be in my car for a little bit. So, but yeah, so many multiple uses. This is also something, if you watch my 5 things that I do post-show video or post-contract video, I have like 2 blankets that live in my car. I take them out, I wash them, I fold them, I get them back. These are great. I think it's just great to have a blanket in your car in general, in case you get caught in the rain or something to dry off with. Just very large, dependable blankets. Good to have. Great if you're doing outside theater. This saved my butt for a lot of time in outdoor theater until I bought a chair. So I put my name on it. I put my name on the actual chair itself because it's just a black camping chair that I got for $7 on sale at Walmart a couple summers back. It took me like 2 years of doing outdoor theater to finally go buy a chair. So I just keep it in my car. Again, spontaneous seating. If you're doing outdoor theater, that's why I love having the blanket and the seat, is I can use the seat, I can have some people sit on the blanket, I can put stuff on the blanket. It's just always good to have some more options. But if it just lives in my car. It just lives. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about storing it. I don't have to worry about finding it. I can just grab and go. The last thing that I have, that's because I don't really know where else to put it and I'm not quite sure when I'll need it, is, oh Lord, my lock box. Some of you have seen this in other videos. This whole kit cost me maybe $25 to make. That was buying this is just a toolbox and a lock. So the reason I have this, and I'll do hopefully a whole video on sort of auxiliary stage management equipment that I have, but with one of my checks, I thought I might be nice to get a lockbox, and this has a funny story to it. So I bought the lockbox, put my last name all over it because I always label your stuff in theater. Always, always, always. I don't trust people as far as I can throw them, so always label your stuff. Always make sure you get it back. So I needed this. You need a lockbox for things such as blades, guns, anything that is dangerous. When I did arsenic and old lace, we locked up, they were rubber pistols. They had no trigger, they had nothing. It was just a like foam rubber that was painted, but they had to be locked up according to the theater's policy. Not the company's policy, the theater where we were doing their policy, lock it up, and then the ASM who was backstage had to unlock it and give them out. And what's funny about this is I used it a lot last like January through May, because on Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe we had a dulled dagger, because that's what Father Christmas gives to Lucy, and all of the other weaponry we had was foam or like LARP type weaponry, except that dagger and a 10-foot bullwhip. And what's funny is they said the dagger has to be locked up. I said, absolutely no problem. Got a lockbox. And they go, well, the bullwhip also has to get locked up. And I said, what? And they go, yeah. And I get it, because I have owned a whip. I have used a whip recreationally. It's one of those things where if you're trying to crack it, sometimes when you don't try is when you end up hurting somebody. And also, it's a 10-foot long bullwhip. There were children around. Like, I understood. But I said, there's no way 10 feet of whip is going to fit into here. I said, is there another solution? I'm talking with the house manager and with one of their tech guys, and the tech guy was like, well, your ASM could just hold on to it the whole time. And I said, what? And he was like, yeah, just have your ASM hold on to it. So shout out to my ASM Lauren, who for the better part of 2 weeks spent a lot of time with a whip just like Indiana Jones around her body. We had tried, I think, to get her a hip, something like to tie it to her hip, but for some reason I don't think that ended up working out. I mean, it was 10 feet of like essentially a whip's just rope. It's like 10 feet of rope that she was just holding on to, and I would, especially during texts, I would come down after run-throughs and be like, Lauren, come out, I have a couple questions. And she would come out just holding a whole whip just wrapped around her body, a dagger and like a longbow. And she goes, I was in the middle of putting these away. I said, please, I was like, please go put those away and then come back. And she'd come back, she's got the whip around her. I said, oh yeah, you have to, I would forget that she'd have to hold on. I was like, why do you have the whip? And she was like, I have to hold on to her. Remember? I was like, oh, sorry. I said, does it get in your way? She was like, not really. It made her, I was like, does it make you feel badass? She goes, a little bit. So shout out to Lauren for being a real trooper on that. But yeah, that was a long-winded way to just say lockbox. I like just keeping it in the car. There's actually tie line and gaff in here. So there's tie line and gaff, which is great just to have on you. And it's always in the vehicle, which I like. So yeah. I guess one last thing that I just realized I had, because I had to move something, so it's back here. These are bungee cords and cables. I also have rope somewhere, but I didn't just want to pull out rope because that seemed odd. But I keep bungees in my car. I keep some rope in my car. As a stage manager, for better or worse, sometimes you do have to haul things to and from the theater. Sometimes they're large. Sometimes they do need to be strapped down. So I like keeping all of that in there just in case. It's really helpful to me to just be like, yeah, I can move in there. Like, do you have bungees? Absolutely. To just make things a little bit safer. You can buy a whole, all of mine are loose. I have to probably organize. They were organized and then I had to help my dad move something, but you can just buy a can of bungee cords. They'll come in multiple different lengths. Just keep them in your trunk, keep them in your car. Something to have, something I've had for a long time because I've constantly helped my parents just haul stuff. We had to haul things to and from another state for college, so I just keep them in here just a little bit, you know, just help. Every little thing helps. And for anyone watching this and thinks that as a stage manager who spends a lot of time in their car, or a stage manager who is getting into the business, like, oh, I need to constantly keep Band-Aids and bungee cords and a freaking chair in my car. No, you don't. These are just things that I have accumulated over the years. I didn't buy all of these all at once. I mean, this is an accumulation of time. But these are things that I've accumulated because these are things that I have needed and have since from that one interaction, I've needed multiple times. This lockbox has gotten used a lot. My Band-Aids have been used a ton. I've used the bungees and the chair and the blankets a ton. So it just makes sense for me to keep them ready and available to me. Maybe the companies you work for have been different. Maybe your experiences have been different. Keep in your spaces what you need to succeed. Don't just take my word for it. These are just things I happen to have. I thought this would be a fun video. So don't take any of this as like, I need this to be a successful stage manager. Absolutely, I don't want to be absolute with this. Most things I say you don't need to have to be a successful stage manager. But these are things that have helped me. Perhaps they'll help you. Perhaps you have your own set of car essentials and stage management essentials. That's the great thing about stage management and about acting and about theaters. Everybody has their own set of skills and essentials and their own procedures. And we all work together and we make something cool and amazing and beautiful. So if every stage manager was the same, it'd be like if every actor and every designer, every director was the same, everything would look the same and everything would be boring. So take what I say with a grain of salt or take it as gospel. I'm not here to tell you what to do. Wow, it's got real rambly real quick. It's getting a little hot in here. So yeah, that concludes essentials in my car. Thanks for watching. Make sure to drink water, give grace, and I'll see you in the next video.